This is the PA7. And first of all, congratulations for clearing the stage 1. If you think about it, it's a pretty long way, right? So there are 6 assignments and you're turning 1 each week. Quite intensive. And the first paragraph here I have are just a couple words of encouragement so that it motivates you a little bit to continue on into the stage 2. And stage 2 is composed of 3 assignments, PA7 to PA9. So it's also formulated as a series. In the end of the series, the hope is that you implement a very simple web server that allows secure downloading of text-based or HTML-based objects. To be more specific, PA7 here is an HTTP request interpreter. Okay, so the role of a web server is first to receive HTTP request messages. So the server there, after receiving the requests, we need to interpret the requests. PA8 here then extends the web server a little bit further so that based on the understanding of the HTTP request, we generate the corresponding HTTP response and then transmit it back. PA9 is to extend PA8 further such that the receiving and the transmission of the request messages as well as response messages will be securely encrypted. And allow me to add more here so that you see the real challenges ahead in stage 2. So first of all, back in stage 1, throughout PA1 to 6, what we ended up implementing is a file upload service. In stage 2, I just said that we need to implement a web server so that we could securely download these HTML objects. That is essentially a file download service. You're perfectly right. What is so challenging about implementing the file download service when we know how to do file upload already? So, implementing the functionality of downloading the files is not the challenging part. So the real challenge is this. Back in stage 1, we're implementing our own file upload client and our own file upload server. So the descriptions for PA3 and 4 there are essentially defining our own file upload protocol. It's very simple, isn't it? Sending the file size first as a number, and then the file follows. In stage 2, the real challenge is not to define our own web protocol, not to use our own web client. We'll be using the existing well-known web protocol, the HTTP, and we'll be using the existing web clients, which are all these web browsers, okay? Chrome, Firefox, IE, Safari, or even the Unix command line curl, the curl command, okay? So we'll be implementing a web server that can interoperate with all these web clients, seemingly. So the real challenge is this. The web server here, you as a programmer needs to understand the HTTP request messages. So you program the web server such that the web server understands the HTTP request messages. You as the programmer needs to understand the HTTP response messages so that your web server there can generate the HTTP response messages so that after transmitting them, the web browsers that people are using every day coming from different companies can understand and render the objects that you are allowing them to download correctly on the display. Now back to the description. So in each assignment in stage 2, you'll be seeing that there are different ways of implementing it to come to the same result. Okay. Now, many of you might be implementing the web server using the socket APIs, which are these listen, dial, or accept APIs that are already defined in the net package. Okay. You'll be also learning these web APIs. So these will be new to you. They are the APIs defined in this package called the net/HTTP. So net/HTTP there is an extension of the net package such that some of these HTTP protocol specific actions or specific message formats are already implemented. So for those who like to do low-level, system-level programming, okay, and looking forward to a career of being a network or system software engineer, then feel free. Definitely use the native socket APIs. So minimum sets of APIs to implement rich functionality web server. Okay. But those who find application level programming more interesting and you're looking more into developing higher level apps, then definitely try out the new web APIs defined in net/HTTP. But in either case, you'll be definitely Googling, trying, failing a lot more at this stage. The reason for that is because HTTP protocol is actually big. Ways to implement, you see the range pretty wide, right? You could use low-level package or higher-level package, and there's actually a pretty big space in between. So there'll be more trying and seeing what is the best for you, all right? So, but no worry, okay, you'll be also allowed more time to explore at this stage. So you see that PA7, it's only to be turned in 2 weeks after the midterm. Okay, and you see PA8 and PA9, each will be also allowed 2 weeks to work on, one after another. I know, some of you might be going, oh no. Yeah, chances high that you will start the assignment 1 day before it's due. I understand, okay? Try to think of it this way. Okay, the work is gonna be done anyway, right? Sooner or later. And the amount of work is pretty much the same. If you start too late, there's a chance of missing out on the due time. But if you start early, yeah, you get it done. And not missing the due date. It's actually quite straightforward. All right, so yeah. The purpose of college education is not only to build your knowledge base, but also to allow exploration, if you noticed. You will not be only exploring ways to implement your assignments, but also to explore yourself. So hopefully, before you graduate, you learn that time management is an essential life skill.